Hello, my name is Franklin Steinberg and I work in the AT department of our BL coating additives. I'm responsible for the pigment concentrates. And today I would like to give you some more details and recommendations for wetting and dispersing additives and grinding resins in industrial coatings, wood coatings and transportation coatings. At first, we start with the direct grind of industrial coatings, waterborne industrial coatings in this case. The recommendations are again based on pigment wetting, so for the color strengths, then intermediate stabilization, grind aids, and polymeric dispersants. When we talk about the direct grinds of industrial coatings and wood coatings, there is no polymeric additive because in the direct grind you use the binder as a polymeric component to stabilize the pigment particles. So here we have the dynamic wetting agent, that is the Saphenol 104E in this case, gives very good dynamic wetting and does not create foam. It even helps the defoaming of the grind. Then as a grind aid, we have the CarboWet GA211. We will see later in this session also what a grind aid can do in the milling process. As co-dispersant, so that is the dispersant that helps also the wetting and helps the stabilization for the binder system. Usually the binder has to stabilize, but some binders do not stabilize pigments that easy. There, for the co-dispersant, we have the TEGO Dispers 755W, the ZETASPERSE 3800, and the TEGO Dispers 757W. To give you a little bit more details about the 755, which is the highlight in this field, it is a high polymeric additive. It is used as a co-dispersant here. It is 40% active in water. It is free of labeling. It is suitable for all kinds of pigments. So it gives good wetting and stabilization for inorganic pigments, organic pigments, and also for carbon blacks. Can be used in a direct grind, and we will see it also later in the pigment concentrates. You can see here it is for high pigment loadings of all kinds of pigments, because it has pigment affinity groups for all kinds of pigments, so you can use the 755W for any pigment. When we talk about water-based pigment concentrates for industrial coatings and wood coatings, we have to keep in mind that also there the customers use grinding resins. So from our side we have also grinding resins for water-based colorants. That is mainly the TEGO VariPlus DS50, but it plays only a minor role in the market. More important, our wetting and dispersing additives in this field, because we also see the trend that pigment concentrates in this field go more and more binder free. When we look then at the recommendations, you can see here for the color strengths, again dynamic wetting agent Saphenol 104E. For the milling process to help the wetting to get a smooth grinding, it is the CarboWet GA211. As a co-dispersant that can be combined with a polymeric additive or also with the grinding resin, we have the ZETASPERSE 2300. And polymeric dispersants in this field are the TEGO Dispers 755W, very good for organic pigments. Then we have the ZETASPERSE 3800. We have the TEGO Dispers 757W with very high water resistance. And we have the ZETASPERSE 3600 that gives very good chemical resistance in wood coatings. When I say it gives chemical resistance and water resistance, 757, it means that the influence on the coating is minimized. Of course, every wetting and dispersing additive reduces the resistances. But only here in this case, we can say we have a very low influence on the coating. Looking at the grind aid, we have the Carbobet GA211 here, gives outstanding wetting and also deaeration for all kinds of pigments. It has a very low impact on coating properties like rheology and water resistance. It also improves the rub-up and the color acceptance, offers low foaming, it gives deaeration. Active matter content 83% in water. And you can use it very good to grind the pigments. So it is a process product. So it helps the wetting and gives some intermediate stabilization that the bead mill is running smoothly. Okay, so in this short video now you can see the effect of a grind aid. So what we did is we made a premix with carbon black and 755W in this case. And then we try to grind this in a bead mill. So when we put it into the bead mill, now we start the grinding. And what we can see, the bead mill is running, but it is not really smoothly. So you can see it's just going droplet by droplet. Now we add to the premix a little bit of GA211, that is mainly about 1%. And now it has to go through the bead mill at first, and then you can see now the bead mill is running smoothly. The pressure is okay and the material is coming out of the machine. Another highlight for waterborne pigment concentrates in industrial and wood coatings is, beside TEGO Dispers 755W, the ZETASPERSE 3800. TEGO Dispers 755W is more for very fine, very difficult organic pigments. The ZETASPERSE 3800 is more universal, so it can stabilize all kinds of pigments in a very good way. When the ZETASPERSE 3800 has a little problem with the fine organic pigments, you can then jump to TEGO Dispers 755W. The ZETASPERSE 3800 is again 40% active. It is highly polymeric, so it has a very low influence on coating properties. You can use it for all kinds of pigments. To show you a little bit the performance of ZETASPERSE 3800, we have here color strength and compatibility with a DPP red, and you can see in comparison to the reference, much higher color strength, much better compatibility. Another highlight is the TEGO Dispers 757W in this field, because it gives a very low influence on the water resistance. So the 757 is more for anti-corrosion paints, I would say. It has very low water resistance. It is a little tricky to formulate with TEGO Dispers 757W because it is very hydrophobic, so we need some neutralizer to get it into water. Problem is that the neutralizer can evaporate during the grinding, and so the 757W gets water insoluble, and then you block the mill. So that means the customer has to watch the pH value of the grind very carefully. So you have to make sure that you work all the time in alkaline environment. So in pH values higher than 7. Then the 757 gives outstanding properties, like you can see here in the corrosion protection, so the resistance in a salt spray test. In comparison to, it was the market standard actually. You can see that the 757 gives outstanding performance, so very low influence on corrosion protection here in the salt spray test. The ZETASPERSE 3600 now in this case is very good for chemical resistance. So it reduces the chemical resistance of the coating only a little. And that is especially important in wood coatings. So 3600, the highlight for wood coatings when it comes to chemical resistance. Active matter content 52% in this case, also high polymeric additive, and some results. You can see here the viscosity reduction. Beside the chemical resistance, also the viscosity reduction in wood coating is very important. So you can see here the viscosity reduction with titanium dioxide. So 3600 for titanium dioxide in colorants for wood coatings with very good chemical resistance. So now we switch from water to solventborne coatings. In industrial coatings, the solventborne medium is still much more important than the water. In direct grinds for solventborne industrial coatings and also for wood coatings, we find the letdown binder as main component. The letdown binder that is used also in the letdown later, of course, has to stabilize the pigment particles and make sure that the grind is compatible with the letdown, of course. What we need from the additive is wetting at first. So the additive is used to get the pigment wetting, and the additive has to stabilize the pigment particles in a first step a little bit to reduce the viscosity. So we need viscosity reduction and pigment wetting, so the color strength from the additive. So when we look at the products for solventborne direct grinds, for industrial coatings and wood coatings, we find co-dispersants and co-binders. So the co-dispersant, that means these are the dispersants that are combined with the letdown binder. And here we find the TEGO Dispers 685. Very nice product, 100% active, especially for 2-pack polyurethane systems. Then we have the TEGO Dispers 678, TEGO Dispers 672, which is mainly for EPs, very interesting. And then in the end the TEGO Dispers 652. On the co-binder side, we have the TEGO VariPlus LK. So co-binder means you can use the TEGO VariPlus LK as a co-grinding resin, I would say. It gives better pigment wetting and helps the letdown binder to wet the pigment and to stabilize it. We go more into detail. We have here the recommendations to the different binder systems. So you see the TEGO Dispers 685, more for 2-pack polyurethane binder systems. It does not like polyester, so only for pure 2-pack polyurethane systems. Then we have the TEGO Dispers 678 for 2-pack polyurethanes, and also for polyester containing 2-pack polyurethanes. Then for 2-pack EP coatings, the TEGO Dispers 672. You can see also here the TEGO Dispers 652, which is more for matte finishes. So especially in epoxy coatings, TEGO Dispers 652 gives a little matting effect. It is not because it is a matting agent, it just is a little bit incompatible that it gives also a little bit matte finish. TEGO Dispers 685 here, 100% active, very good. So also for low VOC coatings. It was developed for organic pigments and carbon blacks, and there it has also a very good advantage. For inorganic pigments it is suitable, but it is mainly for organic pigments. Especially suitable for high solids because it's 100% active, gives very good wetting and also very good viscosity reduction. That you can see here. In comparison to the reference, TEGO Dispers 685 gives very good viscosity reduction. And that is very important when you make a direct grind for solvent-borne industrial and wood coatings. Then we have the TEGO Dispers 652, which is also 100% active. It is from the molecular weight a little bit lower, so it is more on the wetting side. And it is especially for inorganic pigments. So it does not like organic pigments. So it is for inorganic pigments, can also improve the color acceptance. Viscosity reduction is fine, and you will see a matte coating in the end when you use the 652 in 2-pack EP formulations. The rheology is also very interesting. That can be seen with TEGO Dispers 652. It gives a certain yield point so that you will see an anti-sagging effect of the TEGO Dispers 652 when you use it in an epoxy system as wetting and dispersing additive. The TEGO Dispers 678 now, it was developed for mixed pigmentations. So when you use a lot of different pigment types in the direct grind, then you usually see a very high dropout value, so a very high delta E. And because the additive that you use usually is a specialist for one pigment surface. The 678 now does not care about the pigment surface, so it is very good for all kinds of pigments and will develop the color strength of all pigments the same. And so you do not see a very high delta E. So the direct grind, the rub out is very good. It is 50% solid, but still also okay for low VOC coatings. Here an example what the TEGO Dispers 678 can do. You see it blank, so that means there's only the resin, only the grinding resin inside, or the letdown binder. Then in the middle it is a competitive additive, and then the TEGO Dispers 678 on the right side. You can see all pigments are stabilized very nicely and very smoothly, and it still looks very homogeneous. Now we come to solvent-borne pigment concentrates in industrial coatings and wood coatings. And here we have to be a little bit careful because the customers can call it also universal colorants. So you remember universal colorants for architectural coatings, for water and solvent-borne alkyls, but now we talk about universal colorants in terms of it is suitable for all kinds of polarities. So you can use this solvent-borne colorant for 2-pack polyurethane systems and also for alkyl systems. So in the whole polarity range. It is only possible because we use a universal resin. So the solvent-borne colorants in industrial coatings and wood coatings are binder containing. So we have a grinding resin. The standard grinding resin is not from us, sorry for that, but we have another very good grinding resin. So the grinding resin is there also to dilute the costs a little bit of the formulation, but to make sure that it is compatible. And then on the other side we have the dispersion that gives the good color strength, so the good pigment wetting, and the viscosity reduction. And they have to work together. Products in this field here as dispersants, we have the TEGO Dispers 676, the TEGO Dispers 670, which is well known in the market already, and the TEGO Dispers 672. The 672 is mainly for organic pigments and carbon blacks. On the grinding resin side, we have now the TEGO VariPlus LK, which is an outstanding product because of the viscosity reduction that it already gives without dispersant. And together with the LK, we have the TEGO Dispers 676, which can be used also for binder-free colorants. But binder-free colorants are very seldom in the market because there are some other issues that you usually do not find binder-free colorants. Yeah, the TEGO Dispers 670 here, as a highlight, mentioned as a highlight, is suitable for all pigment types. That you will see the outstanding viscosity reduction of TEGO Dispers 670 with inorganic pigments. It gives very strong viscosity reduction with inorganic pigments, and because of that, the customers usually know it because it is the outstanding viscosity reduction. It can be used for all kinds of pigments in all fields of application. Really highlight. Active matter is 40%. It is diluted in MPa and DBE. DBE in some countries does not count as VOC. Also here you can use it sometimes for low VOC colorants. The interesting thing is, beside the very good viscosity reduction, also that the 670 has almost no yield point. So it gives Newtonian flow behavior. And this Newtonian flow behavior that you can see here in comparison to the 710 is very important for instance, digital inks. It's not the topic that we are talking about at the moment, but you can also keep that in mind. Newtonian flow behavior from 670 wherever it is needed. TEGO VariPlus LK, our new grinding resin, gives very good viscosity reduction, was developed for low VOC colorants. When you have low VOC coatings, you also need a low VOC colorant. Otherwise, you put the solvent into the coating and lose maybe the regulations or the limits in the regulations. That you can see on the next page. So here we use you can see the LK. How to explain it? Why you use low VOC colorants? You keep in mind, or you have a base. Let me start like this. That the base paint has a VOC value of 400 gram per liters of VOC. Okay. Now you take this base and you tint it with a normal standard colorant. This standard colorant with organic pigments usually have a VOC value of about 700 gram per liter. So in this case, 680 gram per liters. And if it is a full shade, you use about 20% you need to get the right color. When you do this tinting, you end up with a VOC value of your finished paint of 464 gram per liters of VOC. No, 446. Doesn't matter. Sorry. So that means you increase the VOC by 15%. But on the other hand, when you have in mind the regulations for VOC, car finish coatings, for instance, 420 gram per liters of VOC in Europe, and you do this tinting, then your coating is out. You cannot use it anymore because the VOC is too high. Now sample 2 means we use a low VOC colorant. And the low VOC colorant with organic pigments, we can go down to 200 gram per liters of VOC with the LK. Now we do the same tinting, 20% of this colorant to the base, and we end up with a VOC level of 361 gram per liters. So minus 19% of VOC. So you can use these 90% of VOC, for instance, to adjust the spray viscosity or other things. So you really save VOC when you use a low VOC colorant. So when you try to, or the customer tries to lower the VOC of his coating, he has to think about all raw materials, and in this case also the colorant is a raw material. So for this we have the TEGO VariPlus LK together with the TEGO Dispers 676, which makes these low VOC colorants possible. Now we come to automotive or transportation coatings. At first waterborne, and in this field direct grinds are quite seldom, so it is more that we have to talk about colorants or pigment concentrates. And in automotive coatings, the waterborne colorants are mainly binder containing. It means that the customers have their own resins that they use to stabilize the pigment particles in the pigment concentrate formulation. And so what we have to look at are more the additives. So for color strengths, here dynamic wetting agents, still is a final 104E, which is well known in the market and very established. As grind aids, the CarboWet GA211 has a very good position in the market already. As co-dispersant, that means a dispersant that you can combine with a lot of grinding resins or also with other dispersants is the TEGO Dispers 750W because it's very compatible. And polymeric dispersants, here the TEGO Dispers 757W and the ZETASPERSE 3700. Of course, you can also look at the dispersants that we recommended for the industrial coatings. They are also high polymeric. But here in automotive, 757W because of the outstanding water resistance, and the ZETASPERSE 3700 because of its performance with DPP pigments. The 3700 high polymeric additive gives very good stabilization, is very compatible, and it is very good with DPP pigments that you can see here. The results with DPP with the transparency. So transparency is very important in automotive coatings, and the 3700 gives very good transparency here with very critical DPP rubine with the PR264. All the customers have problems with this, and the 3700 can stabilize. This pigment gives very good transparency. Solventborne pigment concentrates in automotive coatings lose more and more the importance, but still we have, of course, products for this. When you look here, as co-dispersants, we can recommend the TEGO Dispers 676 again, then the TEGO Dispers 672, for carbon blacks and organic pigments, and the TEGO Dispers 670, and also for transparent pigments, the 670 gives still very good performance. On the grinding resin side, we now have the TEGO VariPlus LK, and it really comes to low VOC, and this goes together with the TEGO Dispers 676. So when you see a need there for low VOC colorants, we have products for this, but as I mentioned before, the importance is going down. So that were the highlight wetting and dispersing additives and grinding resins for industrial coatings, wood coatings, and transportation coatings. We have a lot of guiding formulations for pigment concentrates available on our website. So if you need a formulation, you can go there or just contact us. And also if you have any questions about wetting, dispersing, or grinding resins or whatever, just contact us. Thank you.